Why do I need a facial? My skin is perfectly fine. And I go, well, your body was perfectly fine, but you decided to get a gym membership. What the retinoids do is help build up the skin. It helps with the pigmentation. Is first of all, wash your face. I spray my face throughout the day to rehydrate the skin. Mask, 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 mask. Hydro microdermabrasion at the beginning of any treatments to help reduce any scars. Hi, I'm Lashelle Ullie, men's skin health expert and located in Beverly Hills, California. And today, we're gonna talk about the top 10 questions that men ask estheticians about the treatment room.
Okay, so the question number 1. How is men's skin different from women's, and does it require special care?
So men's skin tend to be 26% thicker than women, and we do produce more oils. And the collagen wall tends to last a little bit longer, and we show the signs of aging a little bit slower than women. And do they need different treatment? Of course they need different treatments. You can do a little bit more invasive treatments on men at the beginning if you stay within your scope of practice and you understand who your client is. So one of my favorite treatments when I first started working was when I first started doing men was a sort of microchanneling. And I would use that to sort of not only open the pores, but to create the wound so that I can insert like superficial peels or really deep enzymes, just so that I can deeply penetrate the products. But what I've noticed, even on first contact for my first client, after them never having a treatment before, I noticed that I can get a little bit more deeper with some of their skin treatments in the procedure room, and using more complicated ingredients. I can do more cocktails right away, and sometimes peels right away, depending. I wouldn't always suggest that for everyone.
The difference is that the way to treat the ingrown hair, for example, on the beard would be so different.
Yeah, so men have also tend to get ingrown hair, especially men of color, and there's so many different ways that you can treat it, but some of the ways that I've found to be helpful after so much trial and error, and I've tried peels and I've tried microneedling, is actually a lot of retinoids and retinols and vitamin A. Because what you're doing with shaving, or what men do with shaving, is they're constantly reinventing the wheel of the wound, doing a mechanical physical exfoliation from shaving. And what the retinoids do is help build up the skin, it helps with the pigmentation, it helps with actually the extraction of the actual hair follicle, the intrafollicle that has entered into the skin. So what I've seen after using retinol is just a diminishing of that pigmentation and a building up of that collagen over time. And it's something that you can do in the treatment room, but they can also continue on a daily basis at home too, to sort of balance out that created wound from mechanical shaving.
What's the easiest skincare routine I'm a man, pretending, can follow daily?
Oh, the easiest skincare routine a man can follow daily is, first of all, wash your face. I actually spoke to someone yesterday, one of my neighbors, who we bumped heads, and he said, what do you do? And I told him I was an esthetician. And then he said, oh, I don't need skincare. My skin is great. I don't really wash my face and my skin looks great. I said, that's because you're 30 years old and you're a mixed race man. I said, but you'll come see me when you're 40 asking me for prevention, because now you don't realize how you've gotten these lines and how you've gotten this pigmentation from not protecting your skin with skincare. So I'll say the easiest is cleansing, exfoliating, and number one for men, which I think they're starting to learn, is getting a serum that works for you. Serums are the bread and butter of skincare. They are part of why the functions of the skin actually changes. So get a good serum, and you want to moisturize, and you want to definitely put some protection on. Just kind of keep it simple. Let us do the big stuff.
How can women do all the 14-step routine in the evening, and my husband, he just do this with the water, and his skin has zero inflammation, zero pimples, and I have it all?
Well, let's think of this as going back to the first question of how the structure of a men's skin is different than women. Our hormone cyclication is very different, right? You women every month are going through a different body change each month, which produces, and then you think about fertilization. Then you think about things like estrogen versus testosterone, right? And so those things play a part in the reaction to any ingredients that we may put onto our skin. So men keep things simple because the signs of aging doesn't show up on them so prevalent, right? And that thicker collagen wall, and sometimes oily collagen wall, kind of hydrates them and gives them a much smoother texture. And so most men feel like their skin is so oily that they're really afraid to put anything on it. So they keep it simple for a very long time. And I'm going to say again, for a lot of estheticians, please pay attention to ethnic cultural backgrounds. That is huge in the part of playing on how skin responds to the environment, to lifestyle, and especially to products and treatments. So men tend to have the privilege of sort of keeping it simple. And that's why I say for products for them at home, just keep it simple.
How do I deal with razor burn and ingrown hairs?
Oh, wow. So some of the ways that I deal with razor burn is what I usually suggest to my clients, and this is what I do for myself, because sometimes I go to the barber and I use an electrical razor, which doesn't really cause me razor burns, but can cause certain clients at home razor burns. What I tend to do is use a thin viscosity or gel-based hyaluronic acid instead of an aftershave. Hyaluronic is great for calming the skin and reducing inflammation, as well as collagen boosting, which is great because now you exfoliate it and then you can put that back into the skin. And what that does is that can reduce a lot of the inflammation and really kind of reduce and minimize some of the effects of the razor burn. Another thing that you can do, also gel-based, is a botanical gels that has a lot of vitamins that also can have a little bit of hyaluronic in it as well, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C. There's so many different versions of botanical-based gel that you can intermix with your moisturizers that can help reduce that. Also, if you really want to reduce razor burn, I would always suggest before shaving to use a pre-shave oil, right? To use a pre-shave oil on the skin. I like to use my cleansers that foam up or gel up on the skin, and then I go very slowly with it, in the direction the way the hair grows. On certain ends the opposite, but the key is to shave slowly and gradually. A lot of men, because they are rushing out of the day, they tend to shave so quickly and they're not really paying attention to the grain and where the hair grows. And so they're causing a wound already mechanically by shaving, but they're also just traumatizing the skin because sometimes they're going over the same part twice. So I would tell them to really be mindful of how they shave, try to slow it down a little bit, protect your skin barrier with a pre-shave oil, use a gentle foaming cleanser or a gentle gel-based cleanser versus a shaving foam, and I think that you can reduce that. So razor bumps is something obviously that can slightly be prevented with the first part that I just mentioned, but some people are just prone to having them. The darker your skin is, the thicker that collagen wall is, that melanin is. Blacker men tend to just have razor bumps. Our hair is curly, so you'll get that interfollicular hair shaft that goes right into the skin that causes folliculitis. And so it's something that they cannot control. But I'll go back to what I said in the first question. I would always bring in retinoids, and I would definitely see your esthetician about what's the proper one that works for them to sort of reduce that so that you can be able to go into that interfollicular bump and then get that hair pulled out. Definitely see an esthetician to help you extract those things out properly and to use the proper skincare so that it can reduce some of the inflammation afterward.
What's the best treatment for acne scars or uneven skin tone?
The treatments that have worked for me, that I've found to be most results driven, is when I use hydro-microdermabrasion at the beginning of any treatments to help reduce any scars. That's always going, and what I love about it is that by putting on, say, one of our Zemits solutions, one of my favorite ones is HydroClear, which actually has a little bit of lactic acid in it, which brightens the skin. So that's gonna help with the depigmentation of any scarring at the ready. But it also gives the skin a nice barrier and a slip so that not only is the diamond not being abrasive on the skin, which can reinforce pigmentation, especially on certain skin types with drier microdermabrasion, it also allows that product to penetrate more in. And then you can always back it up with, I always sometimes, depending on the client and how deep that pigmentation is, I can do a second exfoliation using a gentler enzyme that sort of supports that lactic acid that we use in our HydroClear. This is some of the things that I do to start the acne treatment. Why do I need a facial? My skin is perfectly fine. And I go, well, your body was perfectly fine, but you decided to get a gym membership and you wanted to improve upon your muscles and improve upon your body. It's the same thing with your skin organ. You know, your organ, your face, your skin. Your skin may be healthy, but it can always be healthier. You want to fortify that skin, build its integrity. How do you do that? You come and get facials, you get a deep cleaning, you use the right products at home. This is how you build up the strength of your skin. Our skin obviously is is the largest organ of the body, but it's the thing that helps us detoxify waste, and it also pulls in the environment. How do we fortify ourselves from that? Well, you get skin treatments. You do things at home to back yourself up so that your skin now, if God forbid, if you've had an illness or something, your skin becomes compromised, that barrier function is strong. You know, I don't think we should take skincare for granted. A lot of people do, and they don't come see us until it's too little too late. If you want prevention, if you want to understand the functionalities and the structure of how your skin responds, you should definitely get facials to understand what's needed for you. What I would say for someone with healthy skin, I usually say to my client, you can see me once every other month. And if you're a new client, I would always start them off with, see me for 3 to 4 sessions. 4 sessions first, because I at least want to get you through 2 skin cycles, which is an equivalent of 12 to 16 weeks. I want you to use the products at home consistently, committedly, diligently, so that you can actually see the progress of your healthy skin becoming stronger and more healthier. This way you can track and see the difference. Then I usually kind of pull back from them after the 4 months. I leave them to themselves for about 4 to 6 months, and I'll have them come back to me probably seasonally, maybe 2 facials after that, once every other month, and then going back on the cycle. So it depends on the client. I don't need to see them as frequently as I would see someone who has an actual skin issue that we're really focused on trying to remedy, but I definitely want them to see me at least a couple of times out of the year.
What's the best way to improve hydration and elasticity in my skin?
So what is the best way to improve hydration in the skin? Well, coming to see an esthetician and you're getting a treatment like electroporation and cryotherapy. Electroporation is going to penetrate those nutrients into the deepest dermal layer of the skin by using a very soft, gentle microcurrent in the skin. And so that you can take things like amino acids, like hyaluronic and vitamins to really hit that collagen wall and meet where the elastin and the fibroblasts meet, so that your skin is hydrated from the floor up. Also, cryotherapy paired with electroporation, because you could take your gel-based mask, your hyaluronics on top of the skin and sort of infuse that into the skin, really getting it into the pores, locking in that moisture, locking in those pores, bringing firmness to the skin, which really holds that hydration into the skin. How you back that up at home is going home and using those serums that I've talked about earlier and really backing it up. And you know what too? One of the things that I love doing, and I do this all day long, and I always suggest this to men, I love toners. I love my toners. I use it with my skincare, but even if I don't use it, if I miss a day, I spray my face throughout the day to rehydrate the skin, really kind of wake that skin up again. And it kind of, yes, it does, depending on the toner, it can give you a pH balance in the skin, but it does rehydrate the skin. And when you're living in a climate like California, which is a very dry climate, and it pulls all the moisture out, this is another way that you can really kind of give the skin a drink.
Do you recommend any kind of dietary advices along with the skincare at home routine, like
of course,
lactic, sugar, coffee, alcohol, whatever?
Oh, you know, I'm no dietitian, no nutritionist.
Yeah.
I don't always eat healthy myself, but I am very mindful, especially because I am into my own skin health. So I would suggest a couple of fundamental things. If you can, well, first of all, water is the best anti-ager you can have. It flushes everything out. It also attracts other water to the body, which we always need because our body's 90% water. People forget that. People don't drink it enough. I didn't want to roll my eyes about that, but it's the truth. So water is one of the things, and things that you can do to also bring hydration into the skin is like eating like certain green leaf vegetables, cucumbers, watermelon, fruits and things that have water in it that kind of the body absorbs. I love doing things that are protein based, like bone marrow broth. You know, those things are really great. Leafy greens, but the thing that I would suggest to you is to saute them in an oil base, a very healthy oil, so that the skin can really absorb them, because that's really great for skin health, and that's really great for antioxidant protection of the rays outside that we have here as well. And also, if you can do it, especially for men, probiotics. Foods that have probiotics in it. We have yogurts that have probiotics in it. Certain nuts have probiotics in it, natural, because you want that lower intestine gut health to happen. We need it to happen as men. So I would suggest to really get that into your diet if and when you can. No, actually, I'm not suggesting, I'm telling you.
How can I prevent fine lines and wrinkles as I age? Mention microcurrent therapy or radiofrequency treatments, whatever you prefer.
Well, I don't know if the word prevent is the greatest word, but you can definitely diminish fine lines, and you can do that just by adding just more nutrients to the collagen wall and hydration. And one of the ways that I do it in the treatment room is using our mesotherapy eye, which is a spatula treatment. So it's really kind of finite, and you can kind of sculpt it around the eye area and into those lines that men have. Because I think that men should have some lines on their face. I think it gives them character, but we want to have the skin looking its healthiest. So if the skin is more dry, then those lines are more prominent, and then the skin in the collagen wall collapses, and then you can see a sagging and discoloration to the skin. Another modality that I use is RF, which is our version of radiofrequency here at Zemits, which is great for collagen induction, but it also helps to firm the skin. So that top layer of the skin right away, you're going to get that beautiful warmness, and we're gliding that gorgeous collagen-based gel on the skin. And what I tend to do is take a hot, warm towel and remove that collagen gel, and you can almost see the skin kind of firming up. So the radiofrequency treatment in the treatment room is great. And how a client can back that up at home if they have a handheld RF treatment or ultrasonic machine, I usually tell them, along with your skincare products, to kind of support what I've done with the RF in the treatment room. Kind of use this 20 minutes across the areas at home and your handheld, and then that will be a great way to sort of maintain what we've done in the treatment room.
What's the best way to care for the skin under my beard?
It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. So obviously you want to treat the skin under the beard the same way you would treat skin on your head. Get in there, cleanse the skin, foam it up, get your hands in the skin, feel the skin. And then what you can do for the person in the treatment room, for the esthetician in the treatment room, they can always open up the skin and take a look at just what's there, if there's any comedones, any extractions to do, any razor bumps, so they can examine the skin. And they can either do it by hand, or sometimes if the beard is shallow enough, like my beard, I can actually take the body version of our hydromicrodermabrasion and go across the face, and the skin will still get an exfoliation. Later on, to kind of add nutrients into the skin, I'll take our oxygen handheld gun and kind of spray any product into the skin so that it penetrates past the beard. So that's one way you can do it in the treatment room. And what I would tell clients at home is that's where your toners come in at, right? You can take your toner and spray directly into the beard. It's kind of equivalent to the oxygen handheld into the beard. And I usually spray my beard, and I take my hands and I kind of rub it in there. Or I'll take my hyaluronic serum and I get it in the beard as well too. Depends how shallow the beard is, but definitely if the beard is a little thicker, you can definitely use a toner, a hydrating toner into the beard, rub it in there, and then you can add your oils. And one of the oils that I tend to use is Derma Relief, which it has a little bit of macadamia nut oil on it too. So it's hydrating as well as nourishing to the skin. So don't be afraid to get your fingertips into the beard, practitioners as well as men at home.
Are advanced treatments like microdermabrasion or radiofrequency therapy worth it for men?
Yes, I think it's worth it for men, but this is where the practitioner has to be the professional and make sure that they're coming in, because I think, yes, you can feel an immediate difference to the skin when you're doing those different radiofrequency treatments or microdermabrasion treatments or even electroporation treatments on the skin the moment it's done and immediately after, but you'll really start seeing results if you come in 3 to 4 sessions. I usually like to tell my clients when we're doing RF treatment, if we're working on fine lines, we're working on building that collagen wall, then I need to see you at least 4 visits at the ready so that you can see the improvement. Because once they see the improvement and the change, then they're more inclined to continue on the process. So it's definitely worth it, but it's up to your practitioner to make sure that you are not doing just a one-off so that you can see the actual results of the treatment.
How can I shrink my pores and control oily skin?
Some of the ways that I think men can shrink their pores and control oily skin is exfoliating the right way, using proper masks. Treatment that I do in the treatment room is, once again, my RF treatment, which basically not only helps induces collagen in fine lines, but it can minimize pores when used with the right mask. It's all about the ingredients you use. I tend to use our Sal Pure from Zemits, which has a little bit, about 3% of salicylic acid. It's pretty gentle, but it definitely helps to cleanse those pores out lightly, but it also kind of shrinks the pores a little bit. One of the methods that I tend to use to minimize pores, but for a client at home, they can actually have products to kind of support what I'm doing, which can be salicylic, glycolic, and other things to help minimize the small pores at home. Mask, 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 mask. I'm gonna tell you that Clay mask, detoxifying mask. I love a bentonite clay-based mask. I love my Aztec Indian healing clay mask, but you want to use it sparingly. You don't want to leave it on the skin so much where you dry the skin out, because really closed pores can create dry skin. You just want to kind of get it up there, shrink the pores, get it off. Voila.
What was the funniest question your male clients ever ask you?
I get so many interesting questions. I think the funniest one is why do I need you? No, I get that, and I find that so hard to believe. They go, why do I need you? My skin is fine. And I go, okay, great. What do you do to your skin? This is sometimes for my first time clients or potential clients that I'm talking to, or men I'm talking to on the street. And they go, well, my skin is fine. I don't even wash my face. I don't even use anything. I just put water on and go. I just die. I think it's just the funniest thing, because there's this idea that cleansing your skin is not a priority. And I can't imagine that. You wash your hair, you wash your body on a daily basis, but you don't think that your face should be washed? And I always think it comes down to the psychological understanding of what skincare and grooming is. And I think it's been so misrepresented for men that they don't even see it as a priority. I just find that hilarious. They bypass their whole face and cleanse everything else but it, because they think everything else is fine. Well, then don't wash your body and don't wash your hair. It's all the same if we're looking at it like that. Hilarious. Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun today. If you have any more educational content and you want to learn a little bit more, please follow us here at Zemits, and then follow me. My information will be down in the link below. And it was so nice to have you here. Thank you very much. Please click, like, comment, and subscribe.